Fret Planet, do you know the ultimate warm-up for guitar and bass guitar? Well, it's about time you get in the know. This is something that was actually shown to me by my former classical instructor, Larry McDonald, represent. But I have adapted it so that you can use it for acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass guitar, flat picking, finger picking, all kinds of different techniques, all kinds of different fretted instruments. You can customize this how you want and practice whatever technique you need to at the time. So let's get started with the most basic version of this. This is meant to coordinate the picking hand with the fretting hand and to work on hammer-ons and pull-offs. Let's start with open string notes to fretted notes. Here we go. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use open strings and our first finger at the first fret. Okay, so skipping a string every time with your fretted notes, it goes like this. Open, first fret, open, first fret, open, first fret. Okay, then we go back down the other way. Open, first fret, open, first fret. Okay, now we don't go down to the 6th string because we're going to start something different. This is to work on your hammer-ons and pull-offs. Okay, so for each string, we're going to pick once with our pick, but we're actually going to play 4 different notes. We have to use hammer-ons and pull-offs to do that. Okay, so it goes like this. 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, we'll work on getting those hammer-ons and pull-offs smooth in a moment. Let's finish the job. Here we got 5th string, 0, 1, 0, 1. Next. And then when we get to the end, we're going to go back the other way. And the goal is just to get a nice sound out of all 4 notes. Now don't go down to the 6th string because that's going to start the next cycle. Now we're going to do open strings and 2nd fret with 2nd finger. The same way we did before. So 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, and back the other way. 0, 2. And remember, the 6th string is going to start the hammer-on and pull-off cycle. And back down. And guess what? We're going to start 0, 3 now. A little note about the picking here. I've been kind of picking willy-nilly and not choosing what way I'm picking, just so I can show you the fretted part. But when you use this for your practicing, choose a way of picking it and stick with that way at least one time all the way through. Or maybe stick with that way that day and try a different way another day, etc., etc. I recommend starting with alternate picking, so down, then up, then down, then up, and so on. And what I'm actually going to do right now is called sweep picking. That means that I'm picking, if I'm going in a downward direction toward the floor, I'm letting the gravity kind of do its work. I'm picking downward and then kind of landing on the next string and keeping going, okay? Until I get to the 1st string, then I'm going to start my upward cycle and go up, 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 and then start downward when I get to the 6th string. So let's try it out with 0 and 3. Okay, now we're going to move on to the hardest part of this first section of the warm-up, which is 0 to 4. Yes, that means that you have to use that weak little pinky. Oh, if it's not listening to you right now, if it's weak, if it's a mind of its own, right? That's what this drill is for, is to start to make that finger stronger and more coordinated, because yes, you are going to be using your pinkies when you play guitar, especially as you advance, and you have to be able to hammer on and pull off with them as well. So let's start that strengthening right now. I'm going to stick with my sweep picking, and we do 0, 4. Here we would start the next phase of the warm-up, which I'll show you in a minute. First, let's talk about hammer-on and pull-off technique. So what you want to think about when you're using the hammer-on motion is you want to make sure that you're way up on the finger tip. That's the strongest point where you're going to really be able to slam that finger down and make such an impact that it makes a note come out without you using your picking hand, right? Now when you do the pull off, a lot of people do this at first, and they just kind of let go of the string and pull outwards this way, out from the fretboard. But what you actually have to do is you actually have to pluck the string with your fretting hand. I'm going to show you that again. You'll see that I'm moving in a downward direction toward the floor, and I'm kind of landing on this string. That's okay to do as long as you don't accidentally pluck it or make a noise, okay? But this way, again, I get a nice clean sound out of that, okay, without using my picking hand, right? Okay, now this next part I'm going to show you on a bass guitar, because why not? And I'm going to use alternating I and M fingers. That's what we call these two in the world of finger picking. And this time, the next phase, we're going to go from fretted notes to fretted notes. So we start with fret hand fingers, 1 and 2. Here's a little lesson. On your fret hand, these are called 1 and 2. On your picking hand, these are called I and M. Okay, so I'm going to start with 1 with my I finger, 2 with my M finger, and back to 1, 2, and then back down. You guessed it, I'm going to start hammer-ons and pull-offs. I, M, I, M, I, M, then first finger, third finger on your 3rd fret. All right, here comes the big one. We're going to use 1st and 4th fingers. Again, still maintaining that alternating I and M. Okay, now you don't have to keep it there in 1st position. I was struggling there a little bit, right? So that means I need to practice it there more. You can move this up to any position on the fretboard. Let's move it up to 7th position and see what happens. And to talk about timing also, you can see in the sheet music that the picked part is written in 8th notes. Okay, and the hammer-on and pull-off part is written in 16th notes. So make sure that you play the hammer-ons and pull-offs twice as fast as you would play the picked parts. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep a real steady beat here and take you through the cycle. overheads, and so on and so forth, okay? Now this is a good opportunity to get out a metronome and start using that. Okay, here's the last part for this. I'm going to change to what I call traditional finger picking finger assignment. Okay, that means that with your picking hand, your lowest 3 strings, that's lowest in pitch, so these 3, your thumb, also known as P, that's the way it would be labeled in fingerstyle playing with a letter P, is going to cover those. Then with your next 3 strings, strings 3, 2, and 1, we're going to use fingers I, M, and as it's known in the classical world, A. And I'm going to stick with those the whole time. With my fretting hand, the last phase of this is we're going to use fingers 2 and 3. Fingers 2 and 4. And you guessed it, the last 2 of all, we're going to use fingers 3 and 4. This is the hardest one. Okay, and just like with the other ones, you can move this up to any fretboard position you want to be at. So you decide how you want to do this warm-up. You've got a bunch of different things you can do with the picking hand. You can flat pick with alternate picking. You can flat pick with sweep picking. You can do a lot with finger picking. You can choose that traditional finger picked position, which is P, 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 I, M, A. You can alternate with your fingers between I, M, I, M, I, A, M, A, M, A, or you could do P, I, or P, M, or P, A, any combination of those. Do it at any fretboard position. Do it at a tempo that fits you for now. So bust out that metronome. Start at a slow enough tempo that you can get it precisely first before you speed it up. Now, I always tell my students this very important fact, which is that your goal, if you want to be a fast player, should not be speed. Am I blowing your mind? Good. Your goal should be precision. If you cannot play it accurately slowly, you will never be able to play it accurately quickly. You have to do one before the other. And guess what? By going slower, you'll actually progress faster and faster and faster. Okay, speed that tempo up little by little, but not until you have it perfect at the current tempo. Okay, you're going to get better sooner, believe it or not. Try it, it works. Okay, precision automatically becomes speed. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed your ultimate guitar and bass warm-up, and I will see you next time.